Look, I want to get to Texas and Oklahoma here, but, well, let's just get to it. The Red River Blowout, at least that's what we called it on this channel this week. I mean, guys, everything that we said this past week about Texas versus Oklahoma played to fruition. Every single thing that we said going into the week played to be right. Let me start with Texas. Look, this is the first time that this game played in the SEC. Look, it's a big-time rivalry game. I thought the game going into it was really electric. It was really cool. I never really, because I cover the SEC and a team inside the SEC, I always watched the Red River Shootout, but never like really paid attention. Does that make sense? Like of every single detail. That game, when it's right, like it was a year ago, I mean, it's one of the best rivalry games in the country. You got to admit that. But Texas has not been tested, not truly tested this year so far. I look at Michigan. Michigan can't throw the football. I look at Oklahoma. They can't throw the football. You play two teams. The best two teams that you've played have not been able to test you. And I'm going to continue to say this about Texas. I have no idea who you are. No clue. Zero clue who you are as a football team. Now, I look at the stat sheet, and I could say, well, Texas is first in the country in total defense. They're seventh in the country in total offense. They're second in the country in pass defense. They're 11th in the country in passing offense. They're one of the best teams in the country to get after the quarterback. They're 15th in total sacks. I can look at third down offense, where Sark thrives. They're 15th in the country in third down conversion rate. And I hate being the guy that says against whom. Now, Texas fans will come in here and say, well, Blake, it's not our fault who we play. These games are scheduled well out in advance. How are we supposed to know that Oklahoma is going to suck? And you don't. And that's very fair. But I don't really know who you are. I think you have really good D-line. I think Colin Simmons is one of the best freshman edge rushers in the country. I think Hill and the boys in that secondary have done some really good things. But against whom? And I hate being the guy who comes in here and says, well, who have they played? But the God's honest truth here to this point, man, who have you played? You have not played a team. Now you will this week in Georgia, but who have you played that has been able to stress you at any part at any given time? Nobody. And we're going to find out a lot about Texas this week. So many things that we're going to find out about Texas this week. Is Texas one of the best teams in the country at this exact moment? Yeah, I think they may be. At the same time, I just can't, for what it's worth, I cannot run out here and say that convincingly when I don't know. I have not seen them truly tested. I think Quinn Ewers is who he is. And, I've been doing this on a national perspective going on 3 years now. I don't think he's a good quarterback at times. I think he can be borderline elite in moments, and I think he can be borderline really bad in moments. I know the Russ getting knocked off and the first interception, that is what it is. But that's Quinn Ewers, man. He's going to turn the football over. And if you do that this week against a really good Georgia team, you're going to be in trouble. So we're going to finally get our eyes on Texas and somebody that can actually somewhat test them. Let me move to Oklahoma. Guys, during the preseason, I went on multiple Oklahoma podcasts and radio shows. And I got really obliterated by Oklahoma fans when I said I don't think Jackson Arnold's a good enough quarterback. I went on those shows and even my own national show that a lot of you hated and said I don't think that Oklahoma's offensive line is going to be any good. Got absolutely abused by the Sooner fan base. Am I wrong now? Look, man, you're not a good football team. You got a really good defense. Really good defense. Your front seven is extremely good. Extremely good. But I don't know how good they can be because the offense is giving them nothing to work with. Zero to work with. I don't know if this is a byproduct of Oklahoma just being in the SEC and I don't know. That's why they look as bad as they do. I don't know. But Tennessee's not as good of a football team as you thought that they were. We thought that they were after that game. Guys, Auburn might be one of the worst teams in the SEC, if not the second to worst team in the SEC outside of Mississippi State, and you come up with a win. So you're not the bottom of the barrel in the SEC. But I was told by a lot of Oklahoma fans Jeff Lebby leaving was going to be a good thing for Oklahoma. It's not. It's not. Hawkins is a young quarterback that missed a lot of things on Saturday. He's not ready. But nor should he have been. Hey, Michael Hawkins coming into the season, you should not and probably weren't thinking of relying on him to go in and win you football games, especially not this one. And the truth is, man, Texas is just a better overall program than you. You're not in a good spot. Maybe things could change if you had more consistent quarterback play, but it doesn't change your offensive line issues. Guys, your O-line is really bad. You can't run the football. You can't throw the football. I know that you're banged up at wide receiver. A lot of teams are banged up at wide receiver at the current moment in the country, especially in this conference. So Oklahoma, man, look, it's only going to get worse. You got Alabama. You got LSU. It's only going to get worse. So right now, the question that I have for Oklahoma is, can you get to a bowl game? I don't know if you can.